What would happen if you threw your car into reverse while going 65 on the interstate? Assuming your car would even let you do it. Some cars, and almost all newer cars, have idiot inhibitors to stop the transmission from shifting to reverse in situations like this. Like, the computer physically won't let the transmission do it. But for the ones that will, yeah, it'd be fucked totally. The teeth on your transmission would be gone, possible breaking the transfer case as a result. Thousands of dollars in repair fees to the point you probably just totaled the vehicle. Back in my high school days, one of the guys tried this, but only going around 25. The car locked up and had a major brake jam. Screwed up the transmission completely and possibly the engine. His parents were not happy. I wanna say Mythbusters or other science show tried something like this. I'd imagine your transmission would be ruined, all the gears would lock up. I was driving a van in the Rockies down a steep road and a sign said use low gear. But I wasn't used to a column shift, and I went too far. It made a whining noise and that's it. Maybe it didn't actually go in. Modern car with wire-controlled transmission? Nothing aside from a warning not to do that on the dash. Old school car? Your transmission actually explodes. In manual trans, if you could even get it in reverse, at that speed not a lot of cars have reverse synchros, it would cause the wheels to suddenly change speeds, resulting in person probably losing control of the car, and something would break. Either the driveshafts or the gearbox itself. There is a tactic in rally or drifting with rear-wheel drive cars where you would purposefully change to a lower gear and dumping the clutch, and that sudden change would lock the rear wheels for a moment, causing it to start sliding. Depends on the car. Here's a fun video worth watching about it. https://u2.below/do/njj off 4c equals 0 oid pxfgf9gd0tlb. He does a video in an automatic transmission car too. But the car computer just doesn't let it happen. He's got a few videos in that vein worth watching, like in one video he runs the truck on vodka as fuel. Crazy what those old cars and trucks could put up with. This is how you generate 1.21 gigawatts. It'll go click 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 until you slow down. When you get to a low enough speed it will eventually engage, but usually that's low enough to not cause much damage. Modern torque converter and CVT cars won't engage reverse at speed. They have a speed sensor and a control module that monitors this sort of thing. With a manual you'll rip up the synchronous and maybe shear the teeth off of reverse gear. Depends how hard you jam it. Depends on the car. I assume most modern cars with electronic transmissions will not let you do it. Older cars will probably destroy the transmission. Your transmission won't let you. It has a lockout system designed specifically to prevent that sort of thing. I've done it before. Nothing. Dash dings to let you know, but nothing else happens. It had a dial for gear shifting. Same size and shape as the fan dial. Tried to turn down the heat and I put it in park. You'd get a horrible grinding noise and wouldn't be able to push the stick into the reverse position, even with the clutch down. Modern automatics would just go into neutral. Probably not going to be believable, but I'll post anyway. 20 or so odd years ago I was going about 60 kph 40 mph in a car built in 1969 with an 2-speed auto power glide on the tree. I had thought it would be an awesome idea to change the shift knob to a cool skull. What I was too stupid to take into account was that the skull was considerably heavier than the previous shift knob. Not long after, driving normally until all of a sudden I hear tires screeching and steering feels funny. I panic and jump on the brakes. When I came to a stop the engine was idling normally, and I couldn't see anything around that I could have possibly collided with. Confused, and with the car coming up behind me, I decided I needed to park and check for damage or something under the car. I lifted my foot off the brakes. I still remember how I was even more confused when I started to go backwards. I looked at the gear lever, which was all the way at the bottom in reverse. Finally twigged, ripped the gear knob off, and proceeded to drive home. Never had a single transmission issue for the next 15 years when I sold it. Most newer cars won't let you, but if the car does, transmission goes bye-bye and possibly engine and other parts of the drivetrain as well. Could possibly lose control and get into an accident as well. Assuming you could, you'd destroy your transmission. Very expensive. Don't do that. All these answers about vehicle mechanics, I was thinking hospitalization, medical debt, police reports probably. A friend of mine did that with a rental car just to see what would happen. He took it to a vacant shopping mall, got it up to 45-50 and shoved it in reverse. He said there was a pop bang and the car drifted to a stop. He called the rental company, told them their car broke, and they brought him a new one.